$6,500.
Just to get on the list to leave.
Yes.
The Jewish community in Palestine.
I would say they are the original Jewish people of this land, not the people who came. So we had to bury them. They were like 10 years old children. I was living like 10 minutes walking from the shore.
Oh, beautiful.
We have that cup of tea with mint, which is like really delicious.
With mint? Will you sacrifice your life for Pakistan, Osama?
Rape, yes. Of course I know that.
Hi everyone and welcome to my podcast. For today, I have a very special guest, Osama Alostta. Osama is from Gaza, and Osama hates the way media introduces his people and represents his people. Tell me, who is Osama?
I was a computer science student, and I'm 24 years old. I speak 3 languages, and because I'm living in Turkey, I have to speak Turkish. I'm also some people, which I hate, they call me survivor. I mean, I am a survivor, but people are still there, and I don't want to be called survivor, because did I really survive or not? I'm not really sure.
So let's make everyone understand this. And right now, Gaza is blocked, and it's very hard to exit or enter the enclave. How did you make it out of Gaza? How are you here?
During there was the borders are open, and Rafah was not occupied yet, so Rafah crossing was still open. I had to pay money for that, so I could get my name on a list where I could leave.
How much was that?
It was a lot, I would say, like $6,500.
Just to get on the list to leave?
Yes.
And where did the list go?
Well, it went for people who worked for some governments, and because I was like a male who's plus 18, single, I had to pay. So normally, they legalize it in a way that it should be 5,000, and I had to pay extra 1,500 for people just to tell them that I'm safe.
So every person who has to leave Gaza has to go through this procedure and pay the money before the...
You had to pay in case there's urgency, that let's say you have a graduation to attend or any kind of ceremony you have to attend, and to get your name on a list you have to pay money, but that was less expensive.
When the cameras were off, I asked you to start blogging because I think your story is so inspiring. You're kind of like a celebrity here. You have an Instagram, you've been interviewed by people, we get into that. And then you told me, I don't want to blog because I have the survivor guilt. And I said I'm going to talk about that, but on camera, because I want the people to know. So tell me about that.
So I think about blogging and talking about myself more, or share my story and other people's story is also very risky and very dangerous could be. You know, how many journalists were because they spoke the truth.
Yeah.
So if me, myself, and I have a lot of people who would be interested, and I could get a lot of people who would follow me for the stories that I would share, I would put these people and my family and my people who I care about in danger. On the other hand, I would say the survivor guilt is I don't want to seem happy, because I'm not actually happy. I'm just trying to get myself some hope where I can help my people.
When I see Western media, Gazans, their whole lives are just reduced to being a sob story. Back home, what did you do for fun, entertainment?
Well, even Gaza is a very small place, maybe because it also has the highest population based on the area. We have more than 2.5 million people living in a 365 kilometers squared. But it was not feeling it's narrow or small place for us, because people are connected socially in a way that I have never seen in anywhere I have been to. You know, even during the war, that's what made Gazans survive so far, the people who made it is the social life, like social ties, I would say.
Is there like a heavy cafe culture? There's like
Yeah, you know,
together, like what is a social life like?
you know,
Used to be like.
it used to be like, okay, I was living like 10 minutes walking from the shore.
Oh,
Like, yeah.
beautiful.
My balcony would like see the sea, you know, like I would like just sit in my balcony and watch the sunset from my balcony. And most of the time the electricity would be off. So and my friends would like, okay, let's go to the sea. You know, like would just have a cup of tea, and we have that cup of tea with mint, which is like really delicious.
With mint?
With mint.
Oh.
The seasons except winter, we have it like, you know, like all the time. And we have because Moroccans also use mint, but we like kind of make our teas like a different way where like the mint.
How different? How is it different from the Moroccan tea?
I would say like we boil the mint with the tea, you know, like we don't add like the mint afterwards. Because when you boil it, it's like give more tasty.
The flavor.
Yes, the flavor get like not dominant, but you can feel it and like freshy, I would say. So like I don't know, like mentioning mint is like, we had like, I think every Gazan family who had like a balcony would like plant mint in their like small places, so they have own fresh mint. I remember every Friday would have like a family gathering, like the extended family, not only my parents and my siblings. We would have like my aunts, my cousins, and everyone around like.
At your place?
At our place, at their place, because my father was like the oldest, I would say. So they would come to him. Because Gaza is like a warm place, we would go like prepare food and just go out, like have a picnic in the seashore and like some places where like you can just enjoy the fresh air and like.
So picnic culture was heavy there?
Very heavy.
Oh.
Yeah, like every Friday. So like Thursday night, people would go like to cafes and restaurants and just be chilling, you know, like, yeah, Thursday nights for friends, Friday is like for family.
Tell me about the entertainment industry in Gaza. Like, do you have any local movies, some music that's just, you know, that you don't get to see on TV much?
When we have weddings, we have like parties. People from specific parts would have like traditional dances, for example.
How is it like? Could you explain that to me?
Because it's also, again, it's connected to social things. It's not a one person or like individual dance. You have to be like kind of team up, I would say. At least 20 people would be there. But like if it's like a big space where people could dance, it could go for hundreds of people. Just
is it the dance that when the encampments were going on in New York and in Canada, a lot of Gazan students were performing the dance in protest? But I'm still not like
sure. So every part of Gaza or like every part of Palestine would have their own kind of dabka. So you could have like seen similarities, but also there are some differences. And I think for dabkas is like you could know them all, but the leader would have shown when we are going and according to the music.
Oh, so there's one person who leads the
dance. There's like the leader, like the first person who would lead it, or just like be in the middle.
And the rest follow.
And the rest follow.
Talk to me about the Jewish community in Palestine and how is your relationship with them?
As a person, as a human, I don't hate people for like their beliefs. Why would I hate someone just because they are practicing different religions? You know, like so many friends I have in Gaza who are Christians. My friends, we like went to the same school. I mean, not personally, but my friends went to school with like in a Christian school. And for the Jewish people, I think Israelis try to take out their identity as Jewish people. I would say they are the original Jewish people of this land, not the people who were there before 1948. Because, you know, there was like immigration waves heading to Palestine after being expelled from Europe. And they were like, people hosted them, they accepted them. And because, you know, like as a refugee, we accept you no matter, like there's no condition for that. Like we don't tell you to leave tomorrow or the other day. We share the same house, and until you are okay to leave, you're allowed, like, you just stay, you know, like, it's your decision, and we just like share everything together. That's what people thought, and that was like the claim where in the Western media you would say that, or like see that Palestinians hate Jewish. No, we don't hate Jewish people, we hate the Zionists, because when we accepted the Jewish people coming to Palestine, we accepted them as Jewish, not as Zionists.
So Osama, when Israel intensified its attacks on the enclave after October 7th, because obviously the attacks were going on before as well, a lot of people were protesting in Tel Aviv against the war. And thousands were, I remember reporting on that, thousands were gathering in squares and protesting against Netanyahu. What do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Has that been effective at all for people in Gaza?
Well, my question is, was it really against the war? Because I don't believe it's against the war, because I don't also think that there is like the right lobby and the left lobby. I think, so after the last hostage was released from Gaza, have you seen any protest happening? I don't think so.
Just to lighten things up a bit. When you were back home, tell me about your favorite memory from back home. But I know that you talked about the family gatherings. I want you to tell me something that was, let's say, the most embarrassing memory. Something that you still look back upon and you laugh.
Okay, so I graduated from high school during the pandemic. And I had like, so I don't know, like, very excited about my results. I didn't know, like, I was like thinking that I did bad in the exams. I would like retake because of the circumstances that happened, pandemic and like everything that was surrounding. And I woke up like for like some music next like to my room, and I was like,
on the result day?
Yes, on the result day. I was like, okay, I was not expecting myself.
You were preparing yourself?
Yes, I was like, I was sleeping at that time, you know, like I was like really having a really deep sleep because I was not like excited or nervous.
No hopes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do it at the first stage, I would say. And so I was sleeping and I was like hearing some music and like people playing instruments. Because it's like a normal thing for like in Gaza and like I think in Palestine in general, that in the results day of high school, you just like the people who had like or who passed this high school would have like celebration kind of a thing. And
I've seen the videos of that too. Yes,
yeah,
you're right.
Exactly. So I was thinking like, okay, I have my neighbor, but this like the sound of the music is like so close to me, you know, like it's near me. And I opened my phone and like checked the result and I passed with like a really good grade.
Oh my God, so it was from your home.
Yes, it was, yeah. So, and like, okay, I checked and I was like, okay, that cannot be real, you know, like I did okay, you know, like okay, I was not, but not to the point that I would pass that much or like at least pass. And then I went with like, you know, like with pajama and going outside, I was like seeing and people were inside the house celebrating. I was asking like, who are you celebrating here?
And they're like you.
Exactly. And they asked me like to go change your clothes and come. And there was like a lot of people who are there.
Does Gaza have a particular dialect? Are there some words that you say in a very specific manner that are different from the rest of the Arabic dialects?
Well, I have a surprise for you. Every part of Gaza has its own kind of dialect, and you can spot that.
Seriously?
Yes. Because, you know, like in the south, they are more connected to Egypt, so they have more like using way of words that Egyptians say, I would say. And then in the middle part where I come from, we have like just a standard Levantine Arabic, and like very understandable. In the north part, they have like strong accent. It's like the same word, but like with a strong accent, I would say.
So you have 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother.
Yes.
And your mom, and they're all back home.
On the 19th of October, 2023, we got our house, like some parts of our houses like destroyed. And so we had like to go to the south, like where they claimed it's like the safe zone, but it was not a safe zone. We went to my uncle's place, and then we were in the safe zone. They asked us to evacuate to Rafah because this is like gonna be operating zone. And we went to Rafah, and while we were going, it was so scary, and I saw a Gaza that I have never seen before. We know that family who's hosting them, but they are lucky, I would say, even if they have to pay rent, even if they are displaced, because we had 2 houses, like one for my brother and one is like ours, and both of them are gone now. So even like after the claimed ceasefire, they have no place to go back. So they are lucky not to be in a tent, but there's so many people, so many people who are living in tents.
I know that you love to read. Recommend me a book.
I saw Ramallah. It's by Murid al-Barghouthi. So Murid was like a Palestinian poet and Palestinian writer, and he wrote his experience. He was like, as far as I remember, he was born in the diaspora, and then he had the chance to go back to Palestine. And he's writing about his experience and everything that he felt, I would say.
Osama. What do you know about Pakistan?
I know Pakistan Zindabad. It's the most famous, you know, like...
What else do you know about Pakistan? Will you sacrifice your life for Pakistan, Osama?
Rape, yes. Of course I know that video. So I also have another like friend, like a Pakistani friend. And she showed me like a lot of mountains and landscapes that I think it's really like heavenly, you know, like it's coming out of heaven.
As we're recording this, I just got an update on my phone that Iran says it has postponed any further negotiations with the US.
Well, I would say that I'm happy maybe for the first time in a really long while that someone is saying no to these powers like the US and Israel because they thought they are like unstoppable. Well, I'm aware of the casualties in Iran and I am wishing for the war to stop forever. And because the things that happened to Iranian people, they don't deserve that, I would say. The US is not gonna come for Iranians to save them, neither for anyone in the Middle East or anywhere in the place and on earth. Because they claim that Iraq has mass destruction weapons, but they 2 million people there. Or I'm not sure of the exact number, but they more than
a crisis that's still ongoing in Iraq.
Yeah, and it happened like maybe more than 2 decades ago, but still Iraqi people are still suffering. In Afghanistan as well.
Yeah.
And everywhere where the US is touching is gonna be like really messy.
We know there's a lot of tension between Hamas and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or the... How do you feel about Hamas?
Well, the right question to ask, I guess, is why does Hamas exist? You know, why does these people are fighting? Do you know like what happened on the 6th of October? No, no one knows about what happened. And we don't know, like, there was like happened in Lebanon where they in Shatila more than 3,000 people a day back on time. So no one mentions about that. I think the West Bank's area is like shrinking day by day because of the settlements and the apartheid walls and
the military raids.
And also the people who were born in the occupied lands of Palestine, they don't have the right to vote. You know, that's the thing that about Palestinians, I think, because we love life, we fight for our freedom.
Beautifully said. So, before we end this, okay, I think I shouldn't end this, but there's one more question here. Do you have an idol, somebody you're the biggest fan of?
So I don't know if it's an idol, it's just like a representative of a Palestinian and Gazan character. He's called Muhammad Asaf. He's like one of the most famous singer in the Arab world, I would say. And he was like participant of a competition for like singers. And he was telling his story how he had to be like to leave from Gaza back on time, and he was running out of time, and because of the siege he couldn't leave earlier, and he literally like arrived in Egypt the same hour that he was like supposed to participate in that competition.
Oh.
In the last few days he had an interview, and I would say that he was mentioning how people in the Arab world would having him as like a second class, even though his like voice is very beautiful, and I really recommend you listen to him. And he never had the chance to like, you know, go bigger because of his nationality. So
What's your favorite song of him?
it's very famous. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it's very famous. He says like "Ana dami Falastini."
I've heard that song.
Yeah,
It's in my iPhone. I've heard that
yeah,
song.
everyone knows it. But there's like all he has like a really good ones. But there's also Ali Al-Kufi was like "Raise Your Kufiya Up." Before we end, I would really want to tell a story that how also the people who tried to make it outside Gaza didn't make it. So I was connected to a family from Gaza who evacuated to Turkey to be treated. And the kid, his name is Anas. Anas had a kidney failure, and his father was trapped in Gaza because he couldn't make it out to give his son his kidney. For like 1 month and a half, or like 1 month ago, we lost that kid.
I'm so sorry.
Because of so many reasons. But the main reason, and I think, let's say the only reason, that his father couldn't leave, even though he tried to, he did all the procedures to leave, but he couldn't make it out of Gaza. And, he couldn't donate his kidney to his son, and we lost him. And he's not the first case. I know also Roa, she had to go through the same procedure, and we lost her as well because of also the father couldn't leave as well. Even though they're like legal work, and like the paperwork didn't just happen, and because we are under siege, it didn't. So we had to bury them. They were like 10 years old children. So Anas is like one of the most clever and intelligent people that I have ever met. But his dreams didn't last so long. But I promised him that his name would last forever. I'm sorry that the world has lost someone like Anas, because to be with his mother and to have just a normal life. But I think that's where like the privilege come, you know.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for opening up. And I know it was not easy for you to talk about all these things. Before we end this, say goodbye to, look in the camera and say bye to everybody, but in the Gaza way. That dialect that you were talking about from central Gaza, use that.
I hope one day we break the siege and we go and have that tea with mint in Gaza's shore. And ma'as salam.